Lubamba, thank you for joining us on BRICS Africa channel. Please tell me about Stanbic and its partnership and its role to this conference of Indaba Mining 2026.
Oh, thank you very much for that question. Though it's the mining Indaba. In order for mining development to happen, there's so many different collaborations that are required. Starting from the stakeholders, here we're standing outside the government arena. So starting with a key stakeholder, which is the government, that's a significant partnership, and the agencies like your Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Energy, and then the other collaborations which are critical for the mining industry are collaborations with the energy sector. As you know, energy has become it's a very focal point right now because of the deficiencies that we have in meeting the demands of the mining industry, to be more specific, but the economies and lives of people in general. So partnering with energy developers, generators, transmitters, distributors, another critical partnership, and we've got quite a number of participants here from the energy sector. Another partnership is finance partners. So having partnerships with the likes of us, this is where we step in to support the different stakeholders and the different participants in the industry. We also need to look at the wider social fabric and economy, and that is growing our small industries. And that's where we start looking at the beneficiation that comes out of the mining sector. Are we spreading that wealth appropriately and equitably in our society? So we're seeing more and more the consciousness of what these trillion, billion-dollar companies are doing beyond the financials. What are they doing in terms of growing the economic fabric we live in? And one of the ways that this is being pushed through by the governments of a number of countries is putting forward policies around beneficiation, as well as supporting the industry with local content from the small and the small businesses. So in Zambia, for example, the local content legislation has come up, and this will push over the number of years in a tiered manner. Up to 40% of local content should be seen in the mining sector, and no doubt it will be seen in various industries that are coming across, supporting the mining sector and beyond.
A lot of young people in Africa always talk about the barriers to entry as always being finance. What would you say to them to improve their projects or planning or preparation before they meet the financial standing?
You know, there's a lot of school fees have to be paid before you get to a point where your business becomes viable. And by that, what I mean is one needs to ensure that you invest the right research in putting together business plans and looking to experts who can help you to put together a business plan. So it's good. It's very well to have a good idea, and a lot of these ideas may be viable. But if you don't have an appropriate business plan, the appropriate discipline in following through, even when you do have a business plan, then you can fall short of achieving what you need to do. So the minister this morning, we hosted the ASMEG breakfast, which we've been hosting for the last 3 or 4 years here, which is the Association of Zambian Exploration Union. So he was talking about how young people are busy on their iPads or phones complaining about how they're not supported, but they're doing it lying under a blanket somewhere. So it's about get out there, get to do the homework around who can I partner with, talk to the experts who can guide you, and take that advice. Sometimes we have companies approaching us, and the general statement that comes out is banks are not supporting us. But we need to support something that is bankable, and for that, you need technical expertise to guide you. And if I look at the energy sector, for example, the vast number of expertise out there that to guide what is required in order to get an energy project off the ground. Some of that funding can even come from some of these NGOs and DFIs who can support technical assistance in supporting young entrepreneurs and new businesses, not just from the capacity building afterwards, but also from the initial phase of offering that technical assistance. So there are various forms of assistance that can come from government, come from financial partners, as well as from organizations that have been set up to provide that. But it is critical to get it right.
You've mentioned the critical stakeholders, government. What would you say to think it can improve the policy environment for your work to be done efficiently and innovatively?
Okay, we're already seeing how policy change shifts exponentially the dynamics of the economy. If we look at Zambia, just the policy shift around how we deal with mining taxation, how we deal with the mineral royalties regime, changing that structure, allowing for some tax rebates on some of the mining equipment. Just an example, because we're at the mining Indaba, you've seen an exponential change in the mining sector. We've seen companies that originally were even thinking of exiting have now brought in further investment. So policy shifts can really assist. In the banking sector, we've also seen policies that have been put in place. For example, when we went through COVID, which have assisted companies that were struggling because of COVID. And then more recently, we had the stability and reserve funds that was put forward because of the drought that we had and to assist companies that have been impacted by climate change. And these were targeted at small to medium enterprises specifically. And for that, when you start seeing policy change that's supporting, so here we are, we had interventions done, but if that can also translate in a more longer term and consistent policy, then we will start seeing the shifts as we're seeing them in the energy sector. Open access has meant the energy sector has grown. It's one of the fastest growing sectors in Zambia because of the open access, which is a complete shift in policy from a single buyer, single seller model, which is the national utility. Now you're inviting other participants to come into the market and close that gap on the deficit that we're seeing in the energy sector. So policy shift has exponential impact on shifting the dynamics of an economy.
BRICS countries are really, really rushing for the minerals in Africa. What would you say that is your offer that you're partnering with some of the BRICS countries, with the likes of China or India? What does Zambia has to offer?
What we have to offer is the minerals themselves as one, and then we also have a workforce to offer. And if we can grow our economy, our households become more comfortable, then we also have a market for that economy. So what we're seeing, if we can have more partnerships around BRICS, not just knowledge sharing, but also improve trade. If you see how Europe, I'll give Europe as an example, has developed trade policies that allow the interregional transactions. That's what we need in Africa. We still have a long way to go to just improve regional interactions. But we're seeing a number of projects coming into play. We've all heard about the Lobito corridor. In Zambia, we're also looking at the rail corridors, the Nkala corridor goes into Malawi and Mozambique. So these are corridors which are interregional connections. And if we can learn even from the other BRICS countries, including South Africa, who we're closest to, and China. China has a strong integration of its domestic economy with what they're doing offshore. So when they come into countries, they make sure that they develop the companies in China by bringing those goods into. We should be doing the same thing. And that's where the localization journeys should be taking us, which is promote local content, promote local production. And if people are going to bring in products here, let them come and produce them here. That as well will help spur that local production. But I think there's a lot more harmony around how leaders are looking at this, and it's now to see the traction. And we need that traction very soon because we've got a youthful population that's looking up to us for job creation and opportunities.
And
Yeah.
Stanbic is ready with its check and advisory services to assist the young people.
Stanbic is ready there for all the various products and services we offer, including advisory services, long-term investment, transactional. We are here to support the growth of this nation and the
Ms.
growth
Helen,
of this continent.
Ms. Helen, once
Thank you.
again, thank you so much for speaking to
No,
us.
thank you very much for the opportunity.